Have you ever stopped and wondered about something strange? Some of the biggest apps in the world are completely free. You don't pay to search on Google. You don't pay to scroll Instagram. You don't pay to watch TikTok. You don't pay to use WhatsApp. Yet these companies employ thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of people. They rent massive office buildings. They build enormous data centers. They spend billions on research. And somehow, they still let you use their product for free. So who's actually paying for all of this? Because somebody has to be. The answer reveals one of the biggest business secrets of the internet, and once you see it, you'll never look at free apps the same way again. For thousands of years, businesses worked in a simple way. A baker made bread. You bought the bread. The baker made money. End of story. The internet completely changed that model. Instead of asking users to pay, companies realize something surprising. Getting millions or even billions of people to use a product for free could actually be worth far more than charging everyone a few dollars. Why? Because users themselves became the product. That sounds dramatic, but it's closer to the truth than most people realize. Let's start with advertising. Imagine you create a new social media app. If you charge $10 per month, maybe 1 million people subscribe. That's about $120 million a year. Sounds impressive, but now imagine making it free. Suddenly, hundreds of millions of people join because there's no cost. Now businesses want access to those users. Instead of selling the app to people, you're selling people's attention to advertisers. Every minute someone spends scrolling is another opportunity to show an ad. Every click becomes valuable. Every video watched becomes inventory. Now imagine billions of ad views every single day that can generate far more money than subscriptions ever could. That's why companies fight so hard to keep you engaged. The longer you stay, the more ads you see, the more money they make. But ads are only part of the story. The real gold is data. Every time you use an app, you leave behind tiny clues. What videos you watch, what products you search for, how long you pause on a post, which restaurant you look up, what time you wake up, even the speed at which you scroll. Individually, these pieces of information don't seem important. Together, they're incredibly valuable. Companies use this information to understand what people like, what they might buy, and what keeps them coming back. The better they understand users, the better they can personalize recommendations. And better recommendations mean people spend even more time using the app, which means even more advertising revenue. It's a cycle that feeds itself. This is why companies invest billions into recommendation algorithms. They're not just trying to entertain you. They're trying to predict what you'll want before you even know it yourself. But what about apps with no ads? Take WhatsApp, for example. You can message anyone for free. No commercials interrupt your conversations. So how does that work? Sometimes a free app exists because it supports a much larger business. WhatsApp is owned by Meta. Meta earns tens of billions of dollars every year from advertising across its other platforms. Keeping WhatsApp free helps keep billions of users inside Meta's ecosystem. The app itself doesn't necessarily need to maximize profit. Its value comes from strengthening the entire company. Other companies use a different strategy. It's called the freemium model. You've probably used it without realizing. Spotify lets you listen for free. But if you don't want ads, you can pay. Dropbox gives you free storage. Need more space? You upgrade. Discord works for free. Want extra features? There's Discord Nitro. The idea is surprisingly simple. Most users never pay anything. But if even a small percentage upgrades, it can fund the entire platform. Imagine a stadium with 100 people. If only 5 people buy the premium version, those 5 customers can help cover the cost of serving everyone else. At internet scale, that's incredibly powerful. Now replace 100 people with 500 million users. Even a tiny percentage becomes millions of paying customers. Another reason apps can stay free is something called network effects. This is one of the most powerful forces in business. Think about messaging apps. A messaging app with only 2 users isn't very useful, but one with 2 billion users becomes almost impossible to leave. The more people who join, the more valuable it becomes. That's why companies often lose money in the beginning. They aren't trying to make profits immediately. They're trying to become the default choice. Once everyone is using the app, making money becomes much easier. It's similar to opening a shopping mall. The first stores attract customers. More customers attract more stores. More stores attract even more customers. Eventually, the mall becomes the place everyone goes. Apps work exactly the same way. The hardest part isn't making money. It's getting everyone to show up first. Of course, all of this isn't cheap. Running a popular app costs an enormous amount of money. Every photo uploaded has to be stored somewhere. Every message travels through servers. Every video is delivered from giant data centers spread across the world. Millions of people expect apps to work instantly, 24 hours a day. That requires massive engineering teams, cybersecurity experts, designers, customer support, artificial intelligence researchers, product managers, lawyers, marketing teams, and thousands of software engineers. Large technology companies can spend billions every year just keeping everything online. So why are investors willing to fund companies that lose money for years? Because they're betting on the future. Many famous tech companies spent years operating at a loss while they focused on growth. The idea was simple. First, build something everyone depends on. Then figure out the best way to monetize it. If enough users stick around, the business can become incredibly valuable later. Sometimes that strategy works spectacularly. Sometimes it doesn't. For every successful app you've heard of, hundreds quietly disappeared after running out of money. There's another trick many apps use: cross-selling. Imagine you download a free photo editing app. Later, it offers cloud storage, then printing services, then AI editing tools. The free app becomes the front door to an entire business. Some gaming companies do something similar. The game is free, but players can buy cosmetic items, battle passes, or extra content. Only a fraction of players spend money. Yet those purchases are enough to support millions of free users. It's another reminder that free rarely means nobody is paying. It usually means someone else's. Sometimes advertisers, sometimes premium subscribers, sometimes investors, sometimes business customers, sometimes people buying optional extras, and sometimes you're paying with something less obvious: your attention. Because attention has become one of the most valuable resources on Earth. Companies compete fiercely for every extra minute you spend on their platform. Those minutes translate into data. Data improves recommendations. Better recommendations increase engagement. More engagement generates more revenue. The cycle repeats again and again. So the next time you download an app that costs absolutely nothing, ask yourself one question: what exactly is this company getting in return? Maybe it's advertising revenue. Maybe it's subscription upgrades. Maybe it's valuable data. Maybe it's future customers. Or maybe it's simply your attention. Because in today's digital economy, free doesn't usually mean free. It usually means the business model is hidden somewhere else. And that's the secret behind why companies with thousands of employees can afford to give away products used by billions of people every single day.